Did she say she misses you?
Yeah, she says it all the time.
Aw. It's a different experience. We're just gonna have to rest.
What if it doesn't record? We're like 20 minutes into it.
I pushed record. Where would it's probably up on top. It's fine. Because I pushed it. It said record. I mean, I heard it.
Alright.
Let's just trust that we know what the fuck we're doing.
Oh god.
Bless you.
Thanks. God, I feel like I'm getting stuffy from...
But no, it's also the allergies and everything. I like that sweatshirt. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Trinity.
And I'm Courtney, and we're Left Right Collective. Today's topic, we're going to talk about growth. So...
Growth of what?
Growth in general.
Like growth, how tall you get? Just checking.
Yes. Okay, so growth is obviously it's a lifelong experience, and I think how you handle growth, how you handle yourself in situations throughout life, like really shows where you are on your growth. And I think,
Could we also say in a way like expansion?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel when we're talking about this, it's growth is so like it's a huge umbrella. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like I know what the stuff that you're going to start discussing, but it's becoming more of the awareness of your expansion. I feel
right.
I mean, but we will title this chat growth. But
yeah. I mean, it kind of, that's what I'm saying. Like it covers like pretty much everything, whatever you think that means to you.
Okay.
So I think one thing that it took me a lot to realize is it takes a lot of discomfort, and even though you think you've moved on or you have done all this work, like there's always going to be something that comes up later. And it wasn't until recently, honestly, it wasn't until this week something happened and I was just like okay with it. Whereas before I would have been terribly like upset, or hurt or whatever. So
your awareness in the moment of how you reacted differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it normally would have been upsetting.
Right.
So just letting go of, what was it?
You want to know?
I mean, you don't have to say.
I mean, I don't mind. Whatever, it's fine.
I think just so there's more understanding of like what we're talking about.
So I guess I'll just say, okay, I was like kind of seeing someone, but it wasn't serious. Like we were just like hanging out.
And you didn't tell me? But no, for me.
And but you know who I'm talking about.
Okay. I think.
Anyway, and I saw something that he had posted like on his social media, and I was just like, how are you out here? And like I already like knew this about him more so in the last year. But he he was like posting completely like fabricated things, and it like reminded me of like Brendy's dad, and I was like, are you serious right now? Like we're really going there. And I just like I was like, like I don't even need to be in like communication with you. Like I already knew in my heart that like things were done between us, but we would hang out. We'd go to lunch and we'd work out together and things like that. But
I think this is a great example to talk about growth.
yeah, so yeah.
Thank you for sharing and giving your personal information, but sometimes people might not have anything to like have a tangible idea of what we're talking about. That's why I said in the beginning of like expansion and stuff, it's like we're always growing every day, so it's how we're growing in an experience of how we might have once dealt with a situation that could have been very hurtful and painful, and knowing that you've evolved past that, and it feels so good to see yourself in a different place, to know that no longer is like a trigger,
right,
or bothersome.
Right. That's like what I was thinking last night. I was just laying in bed thinking like, it's like nice to be on this side of things, because before like I was totally heartbroken and crying nonstop or whatever. But now it was just like, okay, like it's cool. Moving on, got it. Because like it did like cross my mind when we started talking again, like, could this work out? But then, yeah, I just kept getting signs that obviously it was not meant to be. And so then I just like, whatever, kept it.
So we could also say like growth in when we have experienced certain relationships, and I have known from my experience with Kai's dad, and we were on and off for 8.5 years, which is like silly to me when I look back, but who I was at that time, I didn't know really what I was fully about. I put too much of myself in that experience, in my self-worth, and
right.
now I look back and I'm just like, my God, if he was like the last man on this planet, no thanks.
Right.
By myself. Exactly. But so like that's just one example. Okay, so then what's another one?
Like another example of
growth. Should I use my personal experience of moving away from certain friendships?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
For even myself, and I think no matter what, all of our videos, there is some, I don't want to say interlocking, it's going to be another word that, we're always just like taking our personal life experiences, and they're all, and overall talking about the one big umbrella is all the stuff that we talk about is just like growth in every single way, with ourselves, with interpersonal relationships, and but I don't want to use like attraction in this conversation. That's why I'm saying this right now. So just when you think you've moved past a milestone of, wow, like, oh, that's not something that I'm bothered by anymore, and then you're just carrying on your fucking merry way, and then we don't realize that we get into another circumstance, and what makes it different, if it's not a romantic experience, then we're kind of finding ourselves to be,
excuse me,
I wouldn't say going back, I would say but we kind of plateau without realizing it, and then you get into a new experience, and then because of who you are, who we are, whatever, how you operate with friendships and such, and then you see similar patterns happening, and then you're like, my God, what the fuck? And then growth from that experience to me was way harder. I can end a romantic situation easily. Friendships was, I would hold on.
Really? I'm like the opposite.
A little bit, yeah. Because, well, I don't want to get too convoluted. So yes, so in my last experience of a close friend, that I realized I had grown so much that my personal peace was way more important than the experience of the relationship. And I was proud of myself because a couple of mornings ago, I received text messages that were very much in a gaslighting nature. And I was like, no thanks.
Yeah.
That was huge for me.
No longer need to deal.
Yeah, because I don't need to be in an experience of a friendship where I know that it's so selfish and one-sided. For me, that was hard. That was really hard. So at this place in my life, I was like, wow, I can let go of a friendship.
Right. Yeah, it's too exhausting to have to keep settling for just
Or
what you no longer
or people-pleasing behaviors. That for me personally, not to be, not that I give a fuck if anybody likes me, but it just like in that friendship, I cared for a hot minute.
Yeah.
But I also care about people in general. Do you know what I mean? So that was hard for me to like decipher what was more important, me or that. So that was a huge growing experience for me.
You gotta choose you.
Your peace, yeah. Let's cheers to what you told me. Hey, we're being proud of you. I'm like, who the fuck is she seeing? She's busy.
Do you like I just like randomly come in with that shit?
I'm like, thank you for the sound effects. Friendly. Okay, babe, we're videoing me.
Yeah, I think going through this growth, whatever, it's extremely, it's really uncomfortable. And for me personally, I always like to like handle everything on my own and have a hard time asking for help. So I guess I notice more now. I will reach out a little bit more if I feel like I need help with something, but it's still a hard thing for me. Like
This is my best friend, and this is pretty much how we hang out. We video. We're going to dinner on Saturday, but
finally.
I know. We're both busy.
What else? Like I isolate myself. I feel like when I'm going through a lot of stuff, and like sometimes get really depressed, which I think is healthy. I think we need to like sometimes go down.
Can we use another word other than depressed? Because I feel like it's such a buzzword lately,
which I can't stand.
I know. So it's like we have down days.
Yeah.
Because there are people that really are clinically depressed, but we have down moments. You have to fucking have the down so you can understand and feel the up. But I don't like the word depressed. I feel like it's triggering to me because unless you're clinically depressed, you're not fucking depressed. You are just sad, and that's okay. Being sad is part of the growth process, and being in that space and feeling it all. You have to, but I want everyone to get rid of depressed on TikTok. Please.
It's just turned into a negative thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I totally respect depression. I get it. I mean, that is not being in your feels. So we're talking about being in our feels.
Feeling very low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low vibrational.
Yes.
And then in low vibrational ways, sometimes don't trust yourself when you're feeling that. Mm-hmm. You might think you're taking crazy pills. Yeah, don't trust your thoughts when you're vibrating low. You can't trust yourself. You got to give yourself some space. You got to hold space for yourself. Take a nap, or just like do something that makes you feel good, even though you're still feeling sad. And then when you feel you're back to your normal self, then you can reassess everything from that moment, not when you are feeling your lowest of low.
Right. Yeah, you have to heal. One thing for me, I had to really work on healing certain parts of me that, like, how do I explain this? Really traumatic things that happened in my life, I had to heal. What am I trying to say?
Heal that feeling that you were searching for in something else or in somebody else. Because generally what we're doing when we're working on I don't want to say broken, that is like definitely not the word I want to use, but when there are things inside of us that come from a space where we didn't know that there was pain, so then to like use to get a salve for that part of us, we look for it in another way, whether it be a person, or you can be addicted to fucking anything, addicted to, I mean, there are healthy addictions like gardening. That was the first thing that came to my head. But I'm like, what we normally do in a essence of like parts of us that we feel are there's a void or a lack, we're looking for that in something else to fill that void.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I wrote down. You have to heal, basically, like your mindset from that time. I probably didn't come out right again.
Yes, no, well, I'm going to use an example. So our coworker, she goes to this chiropractor and he is into kinetic energy. I'm going to say kinetic energy because I can't say the other word. And when he was working on her, and then he said, well, when you were 4 years old, blah, blah, blah happened. And she said to me, she's like, holy fucking shit. Yeah, I totally went right to that memory in that moment.
Oh my God.
Of like, we hold on to like trapped energy in all types of ways. And it doesn't need to necessarily be, hers was abandonment. So, you know, sometimes in fear of abandonment, we want to make sure that we hold on to any kind of relationship, whether it's like healthy, toxic, whatever. Well, let's be honest, toxic. So, is that what you were kind of trying to say? Like that?
Yeah, I think so. Don't be so stuck on why things. Oh, this is a big one for me.
Why things what?
Why things happen. Like,
I get to know you on a deeper level all the time when we do these videos. I'm like, what? I'm just joking. But I'm not.
not that, like it just always, I always get to that point and then I have to get myself out of it, which I can do pretty quickly compared to some people who basically live in that state of low vibrational, depressed, whatever. But don't be so stuck on, it's almost just like a victim mentality, like.
Which you don't have at all.
No. But like sometimes I'll be like, God, why? Like, why does bad shit keep happening to me? Or,
oh my God,
things like
I got to say this because Cam will love that we're having this conversation, because I am so deeply a big proponent, which we are, which sometimes that's why that's why I love how our chats lately have just been more of us like literally just hanging out and talking and having a conversation, because he's like, excuse me, officer, when he gets pulled over, which I was like, you're not going to get pulled over. And then he's like, well, that's not my point of attraction, so you can't pull me over.
Wait, you said
So,
this?
no, so I'm just giving you something as an, I was like,
Oh.
because the why do these things happen to me? And I was like, you put that into the fucking universe. Like, that's just one specific example of being stupid. But when bad things happen to us, they're happening for us, not to us. Mm-hmm. Anything, and I mean, we can go across from a death of a family member or a friend to things that are out of your control, things like that. The things that are in our control are our choices, and when you are not consciously aware every single day of what understanding your point of attraction is, by default, I'm just a really fucking optimistic person. I live in fucking glasses half full, silver lining, all that shit. So generally all these things kind of lined up for me in that way. So when things are happening for us, and especially now when something might be deemed negative, so then I understand that it's like for me to look at what I might be learning from this situation. But what do you mean when you're like, why is this all happening to me?
I just feel like that's a question that I ask myself often. So, and I think I used to hold on to that question. Like, why is Brinley's dad such a piece of something? Like,
Okay.
Like, and I would sit there and like hold on to that. But like, it's like now I've kind of just like let it go. It is what it is. He's not gonna change. I mean,
He's not going to change.
Yeah. So I think now, as I've grown and as I've like let things go, I don't hold on to like that why. Like, I'm not stuck on that reason. You know what I'm saying? For example, being like cheated on or whatever. Like, I'm not holding on to, well, why did he do that?
Well, I can tell you why.
Right. Yeah, but like, do you know what I'm saying?
Because your emotions are you're taking it personally in that way when you ask that question. I feel, because why would somebody want to do that to you? Why would somebody want to behave in that way? We can't understand why baby daddy number one. Well, the baby daddy. Sorry, I'm two. He's just a narcissistic fucking prick. So we know that, okay? Bye. So in this experience, you were vulnerable and you trusted and you acted. And because I was part of the experience to some degree as well. And then, when you're in a love experience and you are wanting that and you are trusting in it, you don't really know somebody's personal demons if they're acting like they're somebody that they're not, which he did. He's a narcissist too, and he needs to fill his void of whatever, like what we were talking about earlier. It's like, so for him, it's knowing that something else is like wanting him to, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And
Right.
It's like not like, that's why I'm so surprised to hear you say, because I'm just like, it had nothing to do with you.
I know, but it's like this question I've asked myself for multiple things, and I don't really take things personally. Like, I'm pretty good at like letting someone yell at me, and I kind of like walk away, brush it off. But it's just like,
that's something totally separate than that. I mean, that's okay.
No, it's not, because listen.
Okay.
Here's another example.
Okay.
I've gone through a couple of jobs in the matter of
6 months.
Let's say a year and a half. I've gone through 3 jobs. So it's not, it wasn't anything that I did.
Of course not.
Was, one of them was just it led me to another opportunity, and then things didn't work out with them, and then just all these other things. I've asked myself, why is this stuff happening? But that's what I'm saying, because I've done a lot of the work, I'm not so hung up on that statement.
So we just went all, my bad.
Does that make sense?
It does. No, but I mean.
Because it's happening, because it's leading me somewhere
else. Yes.
But for some people who are really going through a hard time, they might be asking themselves that. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
But no, but I know that's why we're talking about it in the way that we are. And you know what? So what if our videos get a little bit longer? Fuck it. This is what we're here to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is us showing ourselves and our life experience and helping. This is going to help someone else, that they don't have anybody else to talk to. If they're a quiet one like you, they're on YouTube by themselves.
Right.
They're not out at the bar.
I live on YouTube.
Oh, I used to be at the bar. That's how I would deal with it. Actually, the club. Sorry, let's be honest. The club dates are long gone.
Okay, last question. How do you know that you've grown? How do you recognize that?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I keep saying that. Have you seen this really quick? I'm not trying to deflect. I'll say it after anyway. It's reminding me of this Kristen Wiig SNL.
I don't watch that.
I know. I'm saying, because normally okay, forgive me. So how do I know that I've grown? Because I no longer accept the things that I once thought was acceptable. I now know that I know what my boundaries are, and that I have a very clear line. I know that I am not tolerant of certain experiences, so I don't need to go back to them so I could do my people pleasing behavior that I once did so I can make everyone feel comfortable but myself. Actually, I was saying this to Brian last night. I saw a post on Instagram. You don't have social anxiety, the therapist said. You don't have social anxiety. You're just around the wrong people. You're in the wrong, you're in the wrong environment. And I was like, well, fucking touche. That's true, because I recognize that I only want to go and do the things that I want to do. And if I'm out and I'm in an environment where I'm with the people that I know that I'm secure with, then that doesn't even matter to me, because I'm in a sphere of nothing outside of me can penetrate, you know? So how I know I've grown is that I'm no longer triggered by the big fat wolf. He just doesn't have that title. So, and I just watch him seethe and go crazy, and it's actually now entertaining to me. And
excuse me.
I know that I've grown a lot in the salon workspace, because before I would really just be private to myself, and I still am, but I feel like now I don't mind talking to people, because before I'd be like,
Save yourself.
yeah. Now I'm like, you know what? I have things to offer. So sometimes I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll say something and offer something that makes somebody laugh, or obviously what we're doing. So like, words of wisdom. Not to say I'm any fucking expert, but whatever. So like, I notice that there's a difference in that space. So that's why I feel like I know I've grown.
Yeah, I think those are all good key points. I think one thing to keep in mind, though, is always have an open mind to keep learning and keep
Of course.
evolving and growing.
Always a student.
Yes.
But when you can help and heal, and that's when you're a teacher. So that's like the cyclical thing that does, if there's one cycle you want to be in the universe, is when you have learned something and then you can impart that without, which I will be 100% honest, like in the beginning when I was like super excited about all the things that I've learned, and like, and I would listen to somebody talk about some shit, and I'll be like, well, guess what? And I was a know-it-all. So we can't be a know-it-all.
Right.
We're just all here to do one thing together. We're together. And I mean, obviously that was my intention, but people aren't ready to hear it sometimes, you know? I mean, your life would be so much better if you listened to me.
Yeah.
I've grown so much in our experience and being friends with you and us doing this channel together. I've learned so much about how I want us to expand and evolve and grow with the messages that we're putting out there. And so we're always here doing that, growing.
Yeah. I agree with all of it. I think that's it. That's
I
all
would
have
fucking
written down.
hope so.
Just wait, we have so much more.
Thank you so much for being here. What if we didn't record? Sure.
I thought you can't edit the ending.
I can, but there's not.